कोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देवा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गाइए गणपति जगवंदन गाइए गणपति जगवंदन शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन गाइए गणपति जगवंदन सिद्धि जनन जगवदन विनायक सिद्धि सदन जगवदन विनायक कृपा सिंधु सुंदर सबलायक कृपा सिंधु सुंदर सुखलायक शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन
शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन
शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन
शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन
गाइए गणपति जगवंदन
गाइए गणपति जगवंदन
मोदक प्रिय मुद मंगल दाता
मोदक प्रिय मुद मंगलदायक
मोदक प्रिय मुद मंगल दाता
मोदक प्रिय मुद मंगलदायक
विद्यावारिधि बुद्धि प्रदाता
विद्यावारिधि बुद्धि विदाता
विद्यावारिधि बुद्धि प्रदाता
विद्यावारिधि बुद्धि प्रदाता
शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन
शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन
शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन
शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन
गाइए गणपति जगवंदन
गाइए गणपति जगवंदन
मागत तुलसीदास कर जोरे परशुरामस्य मानस मोरे परशुरामस्य मानस मोरे शंकर सुवन भवानी शंकर सुवन भवानी नंदन गाइए गणपति जगवंदन गाइए गणपति जगवंदन
जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका
जय 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 गणनायका जय 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 विघ्ननाशका
जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका
जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका
जय शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका
जय शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका
गजवदना गौरी नंदन
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 गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका
जय 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 गणनायका जय विघ्न विनाशका
जय शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका
जय शुभ मंगलदायका विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका
गजवदना गौरी नंदन
गजवदना गौरी नंदन
गजवदना गौरी नंदन
गजवदना गौरी नंदन
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
गंगाधर शिव शंभो
गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदन
जय 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 गणनायका जय जय विघ्न विनाशका
बोलो श्री गणेश नंद भगवान की जय। Or we'll stand as we join together in singing the Arati. Om Jai Ganapati Deva. Om Jai Ganapati Deva. Prabhu Jai Ganapati Deva. Vigana Vinashana Swami. Vigana Vinashana Swami. Sukha Sampati Deva. Om Jai Ganapati Deva. Parvati Putra Kahavo. Shankar Sukha Swami.
Prabhu Shankar Sukha Swami.
Gajananda Gananayak. Gajananda Gananayak. Bhatanayandogami. Om Jai
Ganapati Deva.
Riddhi Siddhi Ke Mali. Moshak Yashavani. Prabhu Moshak Yashavani. Kar jori vinati kare. Kar jori vinati kare. Ananda Yushavani. Om Jai
Ganapati Deva.
Prathama aapko pujan. Shubha Mangala Data. Prabhu Shubha Mangala Data. Siddhi hoye sab karaj. Siddhi hoye sab karaj. Daridra hata jata. Om Jai
Ganapati Deva.
Sunda Sundala Dunda Dundala Mastaka Parachanda. Prabhu Mastaka Parachanda. Karaj Siddha Karavo. Karaj Siddha Karavo. Kato Sab Panda. Om Jai
Ganapati Deva.
गणपति जी की आरती जो कोई नर गावे. प्रभु जो कोई नर गावे. दादू कह बावती. दादू कह बावती. निज दिन सुख पावे. ओम जय
Ganapati Deva.
जय गणपति देवा. प्रभु जय गणपति देवा.
Vigna Vinashana Swami.
विघ्न विनाशन स्वामी. सुख संपत्ति देवा. ओम जय गणपति देवा. ओम जय गणपति देवा. ओम जय गणपति देवा. ओम त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव. त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव. त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव. त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा. ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम. बोलो श्री गणेश भगवान की जय. उमापति महादेव की जय. सियापति रामचंद्र की जय. जगत जननी श्री दुर्गा माता की जय. बोलो सनातन धर्म की जय. Devotees, you may kindly take your seats. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Narayanang Namaskrityang Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Devotees, once again we all gathered here tonight to worship the Supreme Brahman in the form of Shri Ganesh. Before I commence reciting the Katha, we'll ask each and everyone to try to picture that beautiful form of Lord Ganesh in your minds as we chant these verses which are dedicated to his worship. Om Masumukha Kadantashta Kapilo Gajakarnaka Lambodarashta Bikato Bigananasho Vinayaka Dhumraketur Ganadhyaksho Bhalachandro Gajanana Dvadashaitani Namani Yapate Trinno Yadapi Vidyarambe Vivahi Cha Praveshe Nirgame Tatha Sangrami Sankati Chaiva Viganatasya Najayate Shuklam Varadaram Devam Shashivaranam Chaturbhujam Prasanavadanam Dhyaye Sarva Vignopashantaye Abhipsitartha Siddhyartha Pujito Yasura Surai Sarva Viganarastasmai Ganadipataye Namah Shivatanai Varishtama Sarva Kalyana Murati Parashu Kamalahastam Shobhitam Modakena Arun Gosomamala Vyalaya Gyopavitam Mama Hridai Nivasam Shri Ganesham Namami Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Sudaya Mama Prabha Aviganam Kurumideva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Viganeshwarai Varadai Surapriyaya Lambodarai Sakalai Jagadvitai Nagananai Shrutiyagya Vibhushitaya Gauri Sutai Gananat Namo Namaste Bhaktarti Nashana Parayai Ganeshwaraya Sarveshwarai Shubhadai Sureshwarai Vidyadarai Vikatai Javamanaya Bhakta Prasan Varadai Namo Namaste Namaste Brahma Rupaya Vishnu Rupaya Te Namah Namaste Rudra Rupaya Kari Rupaya Te Namah Vishwarupa Swarupaya Namaste Brahmacharine Bhakti Priyaya Devaya Namastubhyam Vinayaka Lambodaranamatubyam Satatam Modaka Priya Nirviganam Kuru Medeva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Avahanam Najanami Tavarchanam Pujam Chaiva Najanami Kshamasveti Ganeshwara. Bolo Shri Ganeshanda Bhagavan Ki Jai. Those who were present last night would recall we stopped where Lord Ganesh was explaining the difference between karma and sannyas, action and the renunciation. And he explained it to the point that whatever karma, whatever actions are performed in places of worship, those actions should be performed selflessly. (6855), driving 6855. Only you could do that. He explained that when karma is performed in places of worship selflessly, it leads the individual to victory. And in the end, moksha. Before we commence tonight's katha, Let us join together in the chanting of the Ganesh Stotram. Yato nanda shaktiranandashta jiva yato nirgunada prameya gunasti yato bhati sarva trida veda binnam sadatam ganesham namamo bhajama yata shvavira se jagata sarva vetu satatatam sano vishwagopta tatindra dayo Daitya Sannaga Manusya Sadatam Ganesham Namamo Bhajama Yato Vandagibano Bhavara Bhujalanaja Yataha Sagara Chandrama Vyoma Vayu Yataha Stavara Jangama Vriksha Sangha Sadatam Ganesham Namamo Bhajama Yato Danava King Narayaksha Sannagra Yatashcharana Varana Swapadashta Yata Pakshakita Yato Viragashta Sadatam Ganesham Namamo Bhajama Yato Bodhira Jnananasho Momoksha Yataha Sampado Bhakta Sannatosha Kasyu Yato Vignanasho Yataha Karya Siddhi Sadatam Ganesham Namamo Bhajama Yata Yatra Putra Sampadyo Vanjitarto Yato Bhakti Vidya Tatani Karupa Yata Shoka Moho Yata Kama Iva Sadatam Ganesham Namamo Bhajama Yato Nanda Shakti Sashesho Babova Dharadharani Nikarupo Chashakta Yata Nikada Swarga Loka Hinana Sadatam Ganesham Namamo Bhajama Yato Vedacho Vikannata Manobi Sadanitine Tititayam Granandim Parabrahma Rupam Chedananda Rupam Sadatam Ganesham Namamo Bhajama Yato Nanda Shakti Rananda Jiva Yato Nirgunada Prameya Gunasti Yato Bhati Sarva Trida Veda Binnam Sadatam Ganesham Namamo Bhajama Sadatam Ganesham Namamo Bhajama Sadatam Ganesham Namamo Bhajama. Bolo Shri Ganeshan Bhagavan Ki Jai. Lord Ganesh, in explaining the glories of the Gita to Raja Varenya, says to him, Shrota Samartani Karamani Palamane Channa Samachare Shasta Sayogi Rajendra Akrayadyo Samashritaha. O King, whatever the Vedas have said and whatever the law books have said concerning karma, there are 3 law books in Sanatana Dharma, only 3. One is called the Dharma Sindhu, one is called the Nirnaya Sindhu, and one is called the Manusmriti. The Manusmriti is the one that is more controversial, and certain aspects of the Manusmriti is not applicable to the age that we live in. So you don't know what to skip out or what not to skip out. If you don't know what to skip out, you're going to say the wrong thing. So whatever the Vedas have said, whatever the law books have said concerning karma, not having the desire for karma and yet engage in karma, he says that yogi is most intelligent. That is what is called a karma sannyas. Bhagavad Gita says the same thing in chapter 6. Anashritya karma phalam karya karma karoti yaha sasanyasi cha yogi cha na nirviganaya chakriya. That performing karma without the desire to get anything in return is what is called sannyas. What is called sannyas yoga. Not by renouncing material things. That doesn't make you a sannyas. A lot of people believe that when you give up this and you give up that, that is sannyas. That is not sannyas. Sannyas means that you perform your duty without seeking anything in return. Yoga prapte mahabaho hetur karameva me matam Siddhi yoga sya samasedo hetu shamadamo mato. What I say to you, O King, believe what I say to you. Renunciation is not for everybody. Karma is for everybody. Everybody must perform their duty. And the performance of duty, the performance of karma, hetu karamameva me matam. The performance of karma is the greatest achievement for an individual. One must have siddhane gamyatam siddhau. You must have peace within you. Hetu shamadamo matau. And you must have the ability to accomplish the action that you set about to perform. You can't start it and leave it hang up. You must finish it out. In the same way as Lord Krishna was explaining to Arjuna, Aduroksho manora yogam karamakarana mochate yogaruda shatasyaiva shamakarana yamochate. It is said, O Arjuna, that karma yoga, I have explained that in detail to you. Karma yoga means selfless action. Selfless action is what karma yoga is. The absence of desire leads the individual to the realm of the divine. Indiyarata sankalpya kuravana swasri puvara bhavit etanache chanya kuravan siddhamayogi cha siddhayet. Taking that vow, O King, of controlling the senses, yet you engage in the performance of karma, such a person is his own enemy. If I'm arrested tomorrow morning, I'm talking about real jail, I'm not talking about Trinidad jail, where you still have access to your phone and your laptop and all them things. I'm talking about real jail. It means that I will have no access to cigarette. Fair enough? So could I say I stop smoking? No. I stop because I'm forced to stop. But my desire for the cigarette is still there. And that is what Ganesh is saying. Taking the vow of controlling the senses, but yet you engage in karma for material gain, you are your own enemy. Having no desire and performing karma, you are the greatest of the yogis. As Lord Krishna have said, Yata hi nendyarateshu nakarama swanusajate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yogado dastadochate. To be successful in your quest to accomplish yoga, you must have no attachment to the sense objects. And you must have no attachment to the action which you perform. That when you perform the action, you walk away from it. So dredyate naripurecha udavarecha nabandhanai atmanaivatmano hyatma natma bhavati kashtanaha. The individual devotee is his own friend and his own enemy. Going through the journey of life and accomplishing knowledge, acquiring knowledge, one is released from bondage because knowledge is supposed to free you. But being ignorant, O King, One falls into this pit that is called birth and death. And no one is responsible except the individual. Bandhuratma nanatasya yenamatma manajitaha anatmanastu shatravi varatatatmeva shatruvahat. Lord Krishna was explaining to Arjuna that the individual is his own friend and the individual is his own enemy. He has the ability to spiritually uplift himself and he has the ability to degrade himself. Manapamana dukecha sukhe mudriti sadhusho metra metre pyadasine debyaloshtana kashanaha. When there is honor, when there is dishonor, when there is happiness, when there is distress, regardless of an individual, whether he's a devotee of God or he's an atheist, whether he's a friend or an enemy, whether he has patience or not, he looks at gold, he looks at dirt. Jitayatmana prasantasya paramatma samahita shitoshan sukadukeshu tatamana pamanayo. It is the responsibility of the individual to keep himself under control. It is one of the most difficult things to do, to remain in control. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna had explained to Arjuna, the problem in this world is not good, and the problem in this world is not bad, it's not evil. The most powerful weapon you could have in this world is the ability to resist the temptation to do evil. To be able to resist that temptation. He says, when that individual is not affected by the pair of opposites, honor, dishonor, happiness, desire, distress, devotee, atheist, when he is not affected by these things, so jitatmana bhigyani Jnanendriya jayayava abhyase chatatama yogam yada yokta tamohisaha. Control the intellect. Conquer the senses. That intelligent individual, O Raja Varenya, who has conquered the soul, regularly engages himself in the performance of yoga, in the performance of action, until he becomes a yogi. It's not something you're going to try one day and you're going to get through with it. People have tried for years. I have discussed that with Swamis, and they have said that people, when they went to the ashram, and they were in course to become a Swami, there were people who were there 15 and 20 years before them, and they just couldn't make it. Something always just pulled them back down. But you never give up. The key to life is never give up. You keep fighting down to the end. Jnana vijnana triptatma kutasto vijitendriya yukta it yujjate yogi samalota shmakangshanaha. That intelligent person who has conquered the senses, who has controlled the senses, such an individual is a realized yogi. The Gita talks about two things, Jnana and Vijnana. When you go to chapter 9, in the first verse, idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshama anusuyave jnanam avijnana sahitam yajagyatva mokshase shubhat. And a lot of people have gotten caught up thinking that Jnana and Vijnana is one step just above one or one step just below one. Jnana and Vijnana means two totally different things. Jnana means when you have knowledge of Nirgun Brahm, invisible God. That is Jnana. And Vijnana is when you have knowledge of visible God, Saguna Brahm. So two totally different things. Lord Ganesh says, Tatashranto byakuleva chudato byagratetrakai kalete sheta yoshnoma vanalagyan vasokule. In a place where there is excessive heat, A place that is too quiet. A place that when you reach, you just start to feel restless. In a place where there is hunger. In a place where there is corruption. In a cold place. Where there is excessive fire. Where there is high wind and excessive water. Sadava vati jiranago stana sagnao jalantike kupakule yashamashani nadyamavetao chamarmari. In a place where there is too much noise. In a place where people cannot carry on a civil conversation. It must end up in confusion. Near to fire, near to water, near a well, very close to a cremation ground, near the ocean, near a furnace, an abandoned building. Chaiti swalpame deshi pishachadi samabrite nabhyase yoga vidyamagam yogo dhyana parayana. A place where animal life is sacrificed. Abattoir. A place where there are too much insects. A place that is famous or known for evil. In such places, one should not study anything with God and religion. Keep far from them places. Discard those places, O Raja Varenya. Smriti me pashyamo katvam baliraya mandata jvara jarata jayate sadyo dosha jnana dvijoginaha. By losing the knowledge you have of the law books, every scripture in Sanatan Dharma is a law book in its own right. Now, every scripture that was written was all written in codes. People think that this Ramayana of Tulsidas is written in Hindi. I'm not sure. The language of the Ramayana is not Hindi. It's a language called Awadhi. The people in India who speak Awadhi in a minority right now. Very, very minority. And even though Tulsidas wrote that Ramcharitramanas, and he wrote it for the ordinary man, what is called the ordinary man, they still couldn't understand it because of the language. And it took about 200 years for a man to appear on the scene named Pandit Jwala Prasad. And Jwala Prasad took the Ramayana or the Ramcharitramanas of Tulsidas and he broke it down in Hindi. So below all the chaupai, the Hindi explanation that is given there, those were done by Pandit Jwala Prasad. And there were certain aspects of the Ramayana that Tulsidas, either he deliberately left it out, or he saw no need to further explain certain things. Pandit Jwala Prasad put in what is called the Chepak. The Chepak further explains what Tulsidas meant. Now, for Jwala Prasad to accomplish that feat, he must have had a direct link with Tulsidas. For Tulsidas to accomplish the feat which he did, he had to have a direct link with Valmiki. And when you read what is called the Mahatma of the Ramayana, there is a whole group of chaupais. And those were not written by Jwala Prasad. They were not written by Tulsidas. It was written by a man named Puranadas. He wrote the Jivancharit and he wrote the Mahatma of the Ramayana. And he was convinced in his mind. There is a verse at the end of the Ramayana. Let me explain that to you first. Ya pritavi varanai divijay sanprarta chinnamaya sanjata pritavi tale ravikule maya manushya vabhyaya Neshtakram mata rakshasa punaragad brahma twamadyam stiram kiratima papaharam avidaya jagatam tvam janaki shambhavi. When he read the entire Ramayana, he was convinced that the Ramayana was missing something. The word Sita. The Ramayana was missing Sita. Something about that whole Ramayana. Sita never played a part in the Ramayana. It was upon Valmiki himself who decided that yes, what was written there is true. And he wrote what is called the Anand Ramayana. The Anand Ramayana is dedicated to the worship of Sita. The entire Ramayana. So it's not easy as people think. So Ganesh himself is saying the same thing. When you lose the knowledge of the law books that you have, when you know what is right, according to the Ramayana, it says, Treta me bhaye Valmiki muni te kali yoga bhaye Tulsi yadas puni Shat karoda Ramayana bhashi Inamati sada susokshama bhaki. In Treta Yuga, there was a man by the name of Valmiki who compiled the Valmiki Ramayana in 100,000 Sanskrit verses. And Tulsidas, who was born as Tulsidas in the Kali Yuga age, and Tulsidas extracted the nectar from the Valmiki Ramayana, and he wrote what is called the Ramcharitramanas. Prathama yakanda heya balarasila janama vivaha kiye Rama ki leela Dviti ayodhya me kanda prakasha Vedu vachana rago pati banabasa. And the first volume he wrote was called Bal. He spoke about his childhood and the leelas of Ram. In the second volume, Dviti Ayodhya Kanda Prakasha, that chapter that is called the Ayodhya Kanda is the eternal light to God realization. That is why he described it as Jnana Prakasha, the light of wisdom, the light of liberation. And it is in that chapter that Ram renounced the kingdom. And he went in the forest to honor the words of Raja Dashrath. Sant Goswami Tulsidas, Purandas, further says, Punyaranaya Kishkinda Bhakyo Taha Sugrivasha Rana Maharakyo Sunadara Sunadara Kanda Suhavana Yoda Kanda Maha Mari Yoravana. That is the Ramayana. In Aranyakan and in Kishkindakan, Hanuman has caused Ram and Sugriv to meet. Taha Sugriva Sharana Maharakyo. And Sugriv surrendered to Ram. And then, Sundara Sundara Kanda Suhavan, the most beautiful chapter written by Tulsidas, is called Sundarakanda. And for a reason. Sundarakanda depicts only one thing in the Ramayana. The word Ram is not, the word Ram does not appear in Sundarakanda. That's strange. Right? The name Hanuman appears. Sundarakanda is dedicated only to Hanuman. From the moment he stood on the seashore until he returned from Lanka. That is what Sundarakanda is about. So Purandas wrote it correct. Sundara Sundara Kanda Suhavan. And then The last thing Tulsidas wrote, Yuddhakanda Mahamade Ravan. In Yuddhakand, what we call Lankakand, he destroyed Ravan. That is the whole Tulsidas Ramayana. But the Ganesh Gita is saying, and we will link the two together now, Smriti me pashtamokam tvam. When you lose the teaching of the law books, so the Ramayana becomes the law book. When it says, Kartika magaya chaita chetalai navadena kataka raya sukhadai. In the month of Kartik, in the month of Magh, and in the month of Chaitra, that is when Ramayana should be read in a yagya for 9 days. And there's only one mantra to chant in that whole puja. Om Namo Narayan. That's the mantra. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Naraya Mandra Huti. Tina Ahuti Homakariti. 3 times you offer ghee into the fire, chanting just that mantra alone. That is the format. That is the law of the Ramayana. So when you lose the teachings of the law book, we end up with what we end up with now. That's what we end up with. Such individuals, Mook. You know what Mook means? Mook ahoi vajal. What Mook means? To become dumb. Some people become ignorant. Some people, through this ignorance, they attack the very scriptures. Because Tulsidas wrote a line that is the most controversial line ever written on a Hindu scripture when he wrote Desha Kala Mai Samay Bichara. This Ramayana could be adapted to suit any time, any country, any place. And that is what we did with it. We butchered it. He said you will lose the teaching of the law books. There will be no Dharma Sindhu. There will be no Nirnay Sindhu. There will be no Manusmriti. And those who are true devotees of God, dosha jnana vadvijoginaha, people will attack devotees of God. Eta dosho paretyajya yogabhyasana shalina anadehi na chaitesham smritilopadaya dhruvam. I say to you, O king, do not disregard the scriptures. Do not disregard the teachings of the scriptures. Everybody is not going to like the same thing. Everybody is not a devotee of Hanuman. And everybody is not a devotee of Saraswati. Everybody is not a devotee of Ganesh. And this is why it is very clear when he says, do not give up the law books. Let the scriptures be your law. Lord Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 16 verse 24, Tasma shastram pramanamate karya karya vyavastito gyatva shastra vidanokam karama karama tumarahasi. Let the scriptures be your guide. Let the scriptures be your authority in determining what should be done and what should not be done, O Arjun. Having known the ordinance of the scriptures, you decide what you want to do. Whether you want to do it right or you want to do it wrong. People say when you say they do it wrong, you're criticizing. No, that is not criticizing. That is not criticizing. There is a format. If you go to the Patra tells you there's a format on the day of the Chaturthi, which is Tuesday. Now the Chaturthi this year fall 2 days, Monday and Tuesday. It fall Monday, but it extended into Tuesday. So those who started Monday, correct. Those who start Tuesday, they also correct. But yet the Ganesh Puran says, on the day of the full moon, everybody knows that the moon, rises 6 hours after the sunset. So whatever day full moon fall, 6 hours after sunset is when the Ganesh should complete. You check your calendar, see when it's full moon. Tomorrow is Samujjan Murti. Right? He says, practice, do not disregard the scriptures. Those who disregard the scriptures, they will become lazy. They would lose the teachings of the sacred text. And do not engage with people like that. Keep far from them, O king. They are going to corrupt you. Nati bunjan sada yogi, na bunjan nati nandritaha, nati jagrata siddhmeti, bhopayogam sadabhyasan. To be a true devotee of God, eat very little. Eat food that is not seasoned. Eat food that have no onion in it. Eat food that have no garlic in it. People say if you eat food without onion and garlic, let me tell you something. If you know how to cook, you could never tell the difference. You could never tell the difference. May I ask you a question? You could cook? Okay. You're going to make a pot of chana and aloo. Tell me what you're going to do. Try me. You put oil in the pot. Right? Then you put curry. Then you put onion. You put garlic. You put pepper. So far so good? You throw in the aloo first. Which is a strange thing. The aloo is cooked the fastest, but they throw that first. Then you throw your chana and you cook it up. When you sit down to eat, what do you ask for? You don't ask for onion, you don't ask for garlic, you don't ask for nothing else, you ask for chana and aloo. The end product is what you want. The end product of food is to prevent your stomach from being damaged. So whether you eat with pepper or not pepper, that is okay. Abstain from those things. Do not sleep too much. Do not wake whole night. Then you will attain the siddhas. In chapter 6 of the Gita, verse 16, Lord Krishna said the same thing to Arjuna. Natya nashtastu yogasti nachaikanta manashnata nachati swapanashilasya jagrato naivacho arjuna. This discipline is not for the individual who overeats. This is not for the person who abstains from food. This is not for one who sleeps too much. And this is not for a person who wake all the time. There are only two people in this family who could wake 24/7 and be normal. Only two. Me and my daughter. 24/7 we could wake and function. Not again. Not again. Could I do it at one time? So, Ganesh says, Ya kalpa jasta ye kaman niyatahara jagara niyamya kaganam buddhya virame shanay shanay. Discard, O king, all the desires that you have when you perform action. Partake of simple food. The Ganesh Gita says that. Niyatahara jagara. Simple food. In Sanatan Dharma, simple food means the food must not have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different things. To make food simple. One is seasoning, one is mushroom, one is carrot, one is garlic, and one is onion. Keep away from them things. When a person is awake, O king, Niyamya kaganam buddhya, your waking hours should not be in vain. Don't waste time waking. Use your senses to control you. And when you go to sleep, O king, Vickramaditya shanay shanay, you must sleep like if you're dead. Nothing must bother you. Lord Krishna said to Arjuna, Yuktahara viharasya yukta chetasya karmaso yukta swapanavodasya yogo bhavati dokaha. Yoga will be accomplished, Arjuna, if you first understand how to regulate food. You know, some people, because of medical issues, they have to have fixed hours to eat, or are they in trouble? We ain't talking about them. Talking about normal, healthy people. Regulate food. She says, I can't regulate food. You know. If I really hungry, I get up all the way, then I go in the fridge, wherever I take it out and eat it. You know. Cold, just as it is. And go back and sleep right away normal. Right? That's not healthy to do, but I can still do it. He says, regulate your recreation hours. Regulate the performance of karma. You cannot perform karma 24/7. Nobody could do that. Regulate sleeping hours. Regulate wake hours. Tatastat krisheya dedya yatra yato nagachati detayatma vasham kureyat chetamachanchalamadritaha. When you are asleep, your mind wanders all over the world. You should have the ability. And this is why our scriptures have said to us, when we are going to sleep, we should say our prayers. That's the last thing you're supposed to do before you sleep. Say your prayers. That is to prevent the mind from wandering. The mind, O king, chitam chanchalamaditaha, is very unstable. As Lord Krishna was explaining to Arjun, asanshayam mahabaho manodorani graham chalam abhyasin tu kaunteya vairagena chagrihiyate. That the mind is restless, but it could be controlled with discipline, little by little. It's not going to happen in one splash. That you think you're going to wake up one morning and be in total control of your mind. That's not going to happen in this lifetime. Anybody who believes they could go in the sea in a boat and jump off and learn to swim, either they have nothing in their head or they're real stupid. That's not going to happen. You're going to drown. It's trial and error. Everything in life is trial and error. What's the first mistake a child make? You have any idea what the first mistake a child make? Try to walk. That's the first mistake he make. Because it's trial and error. He's going to fall and he's going to damage himself. Whether you want it to happen or not, it's going to happen. Everything in life is a trial and error. So Lord Krishna had explained this to Arjun. Yes, I agree. Asanshayam mahabaho, O powerful warrior. Asanshayam, without a doubt. Donigraham chalam, yes, the mind is unstable. But abhyas me, you could control it. Make the effort. Evam kuruvan sada yogi paramaniravrati amrechate vishwasmin janamatmanam vasham pasmatmanikshate. Those who practice this discipline time and time again, every day, you keep at it little by little, the highest form of peace will come to you. Then you realize that every life that exists in this world, you see it in one form, that form. Everything. That is what is called the universal form. When you go to by the window, when you go to chapter 11 of the Gita, there is a verse that Arjun chanted in chapter 11. Aneka bahu daravaktra netram pashyami tvam saravato vananta rupam nantam na madhyam na punastavadim pashyami vishweshwara vishwarupam. Everything in this world becomes the Vishwarup, one form. And when everything becomes one form, you see yourself in everything and you see everything in yourself. As Lord Krishna had explained, Yanjananevam sadatmanam yogini yatamanasa shantim niravana paramam matsanstadi nagachati. Focus your mind upon me, O Arjun. When you focus upon me, I am the one to give you everlasting peace. I am the one who is the supreme bliss. And I am the one who abides in the heart of each and every one. Lord Ganesh says, Yogena yo namapeti tamupeya madanarat mojami chana munachami tamahammam nasatachajit. Through the practice of yoga, one will accomplish the greatest honor. The greatest honor in the world is to accept in your mind that you have come from the Supreme, and in the end, you must go back to the Supreme. That is the greatest honor. Those who do not discard me, I do not discard them. Whilst they are in this world, O King, I will liberate them even whilst they are alive. There is a great Swami in the 50s and 60s, a fellow they call Yogananda. Yogananda was an English scholar, the English language scholar. And one day he went to his guru, Yukeshwar, and he says, what is my mission in life? And the guru told him, you're in the wrong country. You have no mission in India. You need to get out of India. And he boarded a flight and went to Los Angeles and set up one of the biggest ashrams, still existing today. And all these great people who went to this ashram wanted to see if he was a magician, to see if he could do some kind of magic. And he said to them one day, he said, I will do a magic for you that will never be seen, that was never seen before my time, and it will never exist after my time. And so said, so done. When he died, that was the magic. His body refused to decompose. The man from the mortuary got stuck in traffic in Los Angeles. So he said when he went to where the dead body was, he put on his mask and he had all these chemicals and things. And he realized this man is not showing no signs of death. They never preserved the body. And that body sailed from Los Angeles to India without being preserved, and it never decayed. That was the miracle. So Ganesh is saying, Tamaha mama nasatad jajit. I am the one who creates these things. Sukhe sukhe tare dveshe kshadeto sha samatrishi atma samyena bhutani swargamamam chavetiyaha. In life, when you look at people, you must look at people equally. Do not discriminate against people. It is not people's fault. Let me explain something to you. We use a very loose term in this country, vagrant. There are a lot of people out there who are vagrants who didn't want to be vagrants. Situation made them into that. Not everybody out there is a junkie. He says, look upon all with an equal eye. Don't look at the physical body. Look at the Atma which exists within them. Whether they are experiencing joy, whether they are experiencing sorrow, whether there is enmity, whether there is hunger, peace, thirst, recognize me as what? Jevana muktasaye gendra kevalam mayi sangata brahmadena cha devanam savandyasya jagatraye. Jivana mukta, a person who accomplishes liberation whilst alive. When you associate with devotees of God, that is what's going to happen. If you remember, when Tulsidas was writing the Ramayana, he met a zombie. What we call a zombie. And the zombie tell him, I could do you a great favor. Tulsidas says, you are a devil. Devil can't do nothing for me. He says, no, I can help you. He says, you go where there is satsang. Reach early. And just as the satsang is about to start, somebody going to walk in. And watch him good. When you go to the second satsang, the same person going to be there. The last person to walk in going to be he. And as the satsang finish, he is going to leave first. That is Hanuman. That is Hanuman. And you convince Hanuman to show you what you really want. You know what Tulsidas wanted to see? We wanted to see Ram face to face. And there's a verse written in the Jivan Charit. Chitrakuta ke ghat pe bai sadhun ke bir. Tulsidas chandana gisai tilaka kare raghubir. When he saw Ram, Hanuman went and asked him, did you see Ram? And that is what Tulsidas writes. That is the first thing he wrote. Chitrakuta ke ghat pe. Sitting on a boulder, a slab of stone, in that place which is called Chitrakut, bhai sadhun ke bhir, amongst an assembly of sadhus. Tulsidas chandana gisai. Tulsidas was preparing chandan. Tilaka kare raghubir, which he applied to the forehead of Ram. That's the first thing he writes. So before he wrote the Ramayana, he saw Ram. Then he wrote the Ramayana. When you look upon yourself as a devotee of God, you must see devotion to God in everybody else. Lord Krishna said in chapter 7, Sattaya Shradaya Yuktatasya Radamihati Labate Cha Tata Kaman Mayeva Vihitanitan. Worshipping the devatas, O Arjun, you will get material desires. But whatever desire you have that is fulfilled, Vihitan Hitan, know for sure it came from me. Even though you didn't worship me, it must come from me. Raja Varenya says, Dvevido pihi yogayam sambhavyogi matam mama yatanta karanam adoshtam chanchalam duragraham vibo. Tell me, how many different ways or methods exist to accomplish this yoga? Because I see this as being very difficult. The mind is stubborn. The mind is wicked. You could abuse the mind. You still cannot control it. Lord Krishna told Arjun the same thing. Arjun says, I am willing to try what you explained to me. But the mind is difficult to control. And Lord Krishna responded, Chanchalam mimana Krishna pramati balayavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayodiva sudoshkaram. It is not easy to control the mind because of the stubborn nature that exists. But it could be done if you try little by little. Shri Ganesh says, Yo nigraham maduragrasya manasa samprakalpaye gati yantra samadasman muktam sansmriti chakrakat. O king, do not try to abuse the mind. The mind won't listen to you. The mind has to be controlled. Find something to focus on. If it's for 1 minute, just focus on that for 1 minute. And then you increase the time as you go along. And then you will be released. Sansriti Chakrakat. Then you become released from the bondage of this world. Vishaye krakache retat sansreshta chakrakandridam janashchetum nashaknoti karamakilai susansmritam. The senses are built on a very strong foundation. So it's difficult to break them. But karma is the one thing that holds everything together. So if you perform your karma, but you renounce the fruit of karma, then the pillars on which the senses stand are going to crumble. Little by little, they will crumble. Atidukam chaiveragyam yogado treshname vacha guru prasada satasanga upayata jajeyami. Where there is excessive distress, renunciation, discard desires, one of the things, Lord Ganesh says, one of the things that you have to do is to please the Guru. Please the Guru. Enjoy satsang. One must have this method, and then you will become victorious. Now the question is, why should I please my Guru? What does the Guru have that you don't have? And Tulsidas wrote that in the Ramayana. Banadava prathamama Isura charana moha janita sena Shaya sabaharana. Banadava prathamama Isura charana moha janita sana because the Guru is the one who has the ability to destroy the doubt that exists in your mind, which is born out of ignorance. The Guru could do that. That is why Tulsidas says, Bandau Pratama Mahisura Charana. I bow to the feet of the Guru. Moha Janita Sansai Sabaharana. Whatever doubt and ignorance that exists within me, let him destroy that. Having destroyed that doubt and ignorance, then Tulsidas on a Tuesday started to write the Ramayana. Ganesh says, Abhyasa dvavashi kuravan mano yogam yasedyate varenya durlavalogi ninasya manaso jayat. O king, to accomplish yoga, to control the mind, you must have my grace. You must have my blessings. And if you do not have my blessings, you could try from now until the world come to an end, you will never get through. With my grace, with my blessings, I will assist you to control the mind. It is very difficult in this age, O king, to become a yogi. Asanshayatmana yogo dushaprapya iti me matihi vashayata manayatata shakyo vaktum namopayat. Without controlling the mind, you will never be successful. And if you live your whole life without any success, where are you going from here when you're dead? It could only be done. Shakyavaktam mapayataha. It could only be done, it could only be achieved by constant practice. Raja Varenya says, Yoga brashtasya ko loka gati kimma palam bhavet Vibho saravagyame chenadi sanshayam buddhi chakrabret. When yoga is destroyed, where does that individual go from here? What is his gain in this world? Palam bhavet. What is his reward, O great one? The mind is like a spinning wheel, like a chakra. If you put your finger in it, it cut it off. This is the doubt that I have. What is going to happen to me if I try to do this and don't get through? And Lord Ganesh says, Debya deha dharo yogad brashtaswara bhoga mutatamam bhakta yogi kale janama labe chadyo matam kule. When the yoga of the individual is destroyed and he leaves this world, he gets a divine body, O king, and he journeys to the celestial abode, even though he had not accomplished fully yoga. Because of all the good that he has done, Labe Choddi Satam Kule, I am the one who sends him back upon this earth, and I send him back in a specific home. I've always tell people that. You choose the children you wanted? You brave enough to say yes? You say yes. You don't have a clue. You never choose the children you want, my friend. The children choose you. It's the other way around. They choose the home they want to be born in. Because they know what their shortcomings was in the past. This is what the Gita says. Both Gita says the same thing. They knew of their shortcomings. And if I send them to this home, whatever shortcomings they had then will automatically be severed. And their journey to reach me will begin from that point. That is what the Gita says. He returns to this earth in the home of a yogi. Lord Krishna said in chapter 6, verse 41, Prapya punya kritamalokan jetva shashwati sama shuchi namashri matamagege yoga brashto bijayati. Even if one is practicing this yoga, and for some reason he falls short, I am the one who will send him back in a home where the knowledge of the past will be rekindled immediately. And then he begins that journey to find me. So you have no choice in the children you have. They made that choice. Punara yogi bhavata yeshe sanskaratma purava karmajat nahi punya kritamakashtin narakama pratiyapadyate. The karma that he has left comes back to him. And in a very short time, he becomes a yogi. Some people are destined to become yogis from birth. The fellow, he's not in that picture, a fellow named Bal Gopal. He was destined to be a Swami. He was born a Swami. From my reading on his life, his parents were so poor that when he born, they couldn't even give him breast milk. So in the middle of the night, the father took him up and carried him. They lived in Bindraban. And carry him to the Badri ashram and drop him on the doorstep and leave him there. First day he born. Father is a Pandit. Father still alive, still practicing Panditai. And he left this child on the doorstep. In the morning when the fellow opened up the mandir to sweep out, and he see this child in a box. He take up the child and he bring him in the mandir. He say, look, God come. And they teach that child and discipline that child that when they do Bhagavad, we do Bhagavad in Trinidad 3 times a day for 7 days. They do Bhagavad in India 1 time a day for 21 days. So they to cut a tree and make a log, like a stool. And they paint this child like Lord Krishna. And he stand up there with the basuri in his hand. And not even shaking, like a statue. For 21 days he would remain there. And he mastered that discipline. Until that is the name they give him when he became a Swami, Bal Gopal. Krishna in the form of a child. That is his name, Bal Gopal. He says, I am the one who send them in places to accomplish what they have left in the past. Punara yogi bhavat yeshe, what they have fallen short by, what they have left behind. Through this discipline, sanskarat purava karmajat, the karmas of the past is quickly awakening them, and then they become a yogi. Atava yoginameva kule bhavati yadhiyatam etudi duralabtaramaloke janamaya yadeshayam. And when this child is born in this family of great yogis, to attain such a birth in this world is very difficult in this age to accomplish. One of the last examples we had of this was a Swami by the name of Mrikandu. Mrikandu was married for years and he had no children. And together with his wife, they both prayed to Lord Shiva. And in the life of Mrikandu, they say that Lord Shiva appeared to him one night and tell him, I'm going to give you 2 children. Pick one. He said, what's the choice I have? I'm going to give you a child who's going to live 100 years. But he will be no damn good. Or I'm going to give you a child who's going to live 16 years. Perfect. He went for the 16-year-old. And the child, when the child finished the 15th birthday, the child saw the resentment from the parents. They pushed him away. They started to push him away. Until one day he confronted them. And they explained to him that this is your last year in this life. He says, if I came to you all as a gift of Lord Shiva not going to take my life. And from that day until his 16th birthday, 24/7, he meditated upon Lord Shiva. Meditating upon Lord Shiva appeared to him and says, listen, this is it. You're not going, you're staying here. He became the author of what is called the Markandeya Puran. Get a copy of the Markandeya Puran and see how powerful the Markandeya Puran is. What is called the Durga Saptashati, the 700 verses to Durga. It is written in the Markandeya Puran. Markandeya became one of the Saptarishis through the faith, through the blessings. Tram tam buddhisana yogam labate pauravadehikam yatate cha tato bhoya sansiddhau kurunandana. And when that child comes back into this world, the child brings the knowledge that it had acquired in a past life. That knowledge dawns upon the child. And then that child, from very young, yatato cha tato bhuya, begins to strive now, sansiddhau kurunandana, to become one with the Supreme, what we call God realization. It don't happen by mistake. Jnana nishta tapo nishta karma nishta naradipaha shreshto yogi yashreshtatamo bhaktaman mayiteshu yaha. O King, through knowledge, one will understand what karma is. Through karma, one will understand what is meditation. Through meditation, one will understand what is devotion. And when you understand what is devotion, such an individual, bhaktiman mayiteshu yaha, such an individual achieves the highest state. Such individuals attain the highest that they could ever reach. And those people who attain the highest, they don't live long. They don't live long at all. And the best example given is Shankaracharya. He is considered to be the guru of Sanatana Dharma. And one day he was asked the very question, what is the greatest fear in the mind of people? And he wrote a verse. Punarapi jananam punarapi maranam punarapi janani jatariya shainam ehi sannasari bahudushatari kripaya pahi pahi murari bhaj govindam govindam bhaj moramate Bhagavad Gita kimachedadita Ganga jalala kanika sapita Sakrita piye mura richa marcha Priyate yate nayamena nacharcha Bhaj govindam govindam bhaj moramate Bhaj govindam govindam bhaj moramate. The greatest fear that exists in the mind of the individual is to go through the constant cycle of birth and death. And nobody, according to Shankaracharya, nobody makes the effort to get out of birth and death. And he wrote a prescription to get out of birth and death. Bhagavad Gita kim chidadita. The Bhagavad Gita. They use the word Bhagavad Gita, but what Shankaracharya would have meant, he knew that this was the Kali Yuga age. He knew the 5 devatas would be important. So either you go with the Vishnu Gita, which is the Bhagavad Gita, the Shiv Gita, the Surya Gita, the Ganesh Gita, or the Devi Gita. All the Gita says the same thing in different chapters. The Bhagavad Gita says it in 18 chapters. Ganesh Gita says it in 11 chapters. The Devi Gita says it in 18 chapters also. And the Shiv Gita in 13 chapters. They all say the same thing. That Bhagavad Gita kimchidadita Ganga jalalava kanika hapita. That drink the water of the Ganga, 1 drop. You don't want a bottle of Ganga water. You want 1 drop. And that 1 drop of Ganga Jal, together with the name of Lord Krishna, Sagridapi yena murari chamaracha, you will set your life forever. Kriyate tena yamena nacharacha. Yamen means the god of death. You would have freed yourself from the cycle of birth and death. Yogina napi sarvesham madagate nantaratmana sharavan bhajate yomam samyokto tamo mataha. Worship me. Worship me sincerely. Do not worship me to please our audience. Worship me to please your soul. Stand before my murti. Pray to me. Worship me. Worship me with Shravan Bhajate. Firm faith, firm devotion. Yasame yuktatamo mamaha. And I will make you the greatest yogi. This is my promise to you. If you look at the picture in the corner, there is a verse, a Sanskrit verse. Sarva dharma parittajam mamekam sharanam braja. Surrender the action to me. Surrender your devotion to me. And I am the one. This is my promise to you. I will make you a devotee of mine. Tatra tan bodhisana yogam labate purvadehikam yatate cha tato boya sansedau kurunandana. Sana yogam, to connect with me. That connection always exists. From the time the life comes into this world, we already have an automatic link with God. But for some strange reason, the wires become corroded. But the connection is still there. It's just the wires corroded. That yatato cha tato bhuya. When I strengthen that connection that you have with me, only then all the good you have done in a previous life, what is called sanchita karma, only then that will be awakened in you. And when that sanchita karma is awakened in you, then you begin sansiddhau, to strive, kurunandana, for God realization. Jnana nishtat tapo nishtat karma nishtat naradipaha shreshto yogi shashreshta tamo bhaktaman mayiteshu chaha. To reach the highest point, to reach the highest level. I said that a few days ago. Why do you want to live 100 years? Live a short life and do one thing in life that people will talk about it for hundreds of years. Tulsidas did that. Wrote one little book. Well, that's not true. He wrote plenty of books. But he wrote the Ramcharitmanas, and we still talk about Tulsidas. 500 years now. So, you will attain the highest state that the individual could really could realize. Bhakti manya, true bhakti, true devotion. Devote yourself to me. Make self-sacrifices unto me. In chapter 9 of the Gita, there is a verse, Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam avaishasi yukvenam matamanam matparayanam. Fix your mind upon me. Meditate upon me. Be devoted to me. Make self-sacrifices unto me. And this is my promise to you, Arjun. In the end, you will come to me. This is what Ganesh is saying to Raja Varenya. When you attain the highest state, you will only attain that because of the devotion that you have towards me. When you stand before me and you pour your soul out to me, I am the one who will strengthen that meditation. I will strengthen your devotion. I will strengthen your karma. And I will give you that knowledge, that gyan, that will make you see me, reveal myself to you. There's a bhajan that was sung by Anup Jalota. Moha ke vash mein Arjun aaya, Roop birat se har li maya, ऐसा ही मुझे रूप दिखा दे, नैया तरा दे, पार लगा दे. मोह के जस में अर्जुन आया. When Arjun approached Lord Krishna on the battlefield, he was filled with doubt and ignorance. And he said to Lord Krishna, Rupa Birata Seharali Maya. If you show me that universal form, all my doubt and ignorance will be destroyed. And so said, so done. Aisa hi mujhe rupa dikha de. I also want to see that form. And if I see that form, nayatarade parautare, that sight or that vision of that form will take me over the cycle of birth and death. That vision will take me over. Ganesh says, you get that vision through my devotion. You get that knowledge, that gyan through me. I strengthen the knowledge that you have, that will give you the capability through the devotion that you have to see that form and also to achieve it. Yoginam api sarvesham madagate nantaratmana sharavan bhajate yomam samyokto tamo mataha. When you worship me, you must be happy. Make every effort. God was a smart being. He made Sanatan Dharma so simple. Patram pushpam palam toyam. Nothing more simple than that. A leaf, a flower, a fruit, a drop of water. That's all. That is all you need. When you stand before the Murti, that is all you offer. Water. You want to put a chandan? You put a chandan. You want to put the flowers? You put the flowers. You want to offer a parsad? You offer the parsad. You want to do an arti? You do it. And when you do these things, that is the type of devotion. Shadavan bhajate yomam. That shraddha, that faith that you have, I will strengthen it. You will become one of the great orators of Sanatan Dharma. Same yuktatamo mamaha. And in the end, you become so firm that you become one of the great yogis of Sanatan Dharma. And all this comes through the grace and the blessings of that Supreme Lord, whom we worship by the name of Shri Ganesh. Bolo Shri Ganesh and the Bhagavan ki jai. Devotees, while the Havan is taking place, I'm going to sing a bhajan for you a cappella, without music. It is a bhajan that is loved by 3 people in this house. Well, 2. My father first sang it. My son have a weakness for it. And then I sing it. Bhajo de man Ram charan sukhadai. Bhajo de man Ram charan sukhadai. जिन चरणन के निकसि सुर सदी शंकर जथा समाई. जिन चरणन के निकसि सुर सदी शंकर जथा समाई. जथा शंकरी नाम धरो है त्रिभुवन तारन आई. भजो रे मन राम चरण सुखदाई. भजो रे मन राम चरण सुखदाई. जिन चरणन के चरण पादुका भरत रहे लवलाई. जिन चरणन के चरण पादुका भरत रहे लवलाई. सोई केवत कतरमि दोई लीनो तब हरि नाव चराई. भजो रे मन राम चरण सुखदाई. Glorify the name of Ram, the feet of Ram. Washing the feet of Ram. Jin charananake nikasi surasari. The Ganga came upon the earth. Jin charananake charanapaduka bharata dahi lavalai. Having washed the feet of Ram, Bharat embraced the sandals of Ram. So ke watakatarami doilino tabaharina wacharai. Ke what washed the feet of Ram before he took Ram over the Ganga. Dandaka banna prabhu pavana kino rishi annatra samithai. Dandaka banna prabhu pavana kino rishi annatra samithai. Sota kurutin loka ke swami kapata mriga sangadhai bhajore man Ramacharana Sukhadai. Dandakabana Prabhu Pavana Kino. The very feet of Ram is what purified the Dandaka forest. Rishi Anatra Samithai. The very feet removed the suffering from the rishis and the munis. So Thakurutin Loka Kiswami. Such a Lord who is the master of the universe, Kapatamriga Sangadhai, was running after a deer that didn't exist. Kapi Sugriva Bandhu Veya Vyakul Tashira Chatra Charai. Kapi Sugriva Bandhu Veya Vyakul Tashira Chatra Charai. Ripuko Anuja Vibhishana Bheto Parasatalang kahapai bhajore man Ramacharana sukhadai. Ripuko anuja vibhishana bheto parasatalang kahapai. Ram embraced the brother of his enemy and made him a king. Kapi Sugriva Bandhuve Vyakul Tashida Chatra Charai. Because of all the fear that Sugriva had because of Bali, Ram destroyed it. Shiva Sannakadi Adi Brahmadik Shesha Sahasa Mukhagai. Shiva Sannakadi Adi Brahmadik Shesha Sahasa Mukhagai. Tulsidas Maruta Sutta Mahima Hari apane Mukhagai Bhajore man Ramacharana Sukhadai. Lord Shiva, Brahma, Sheshanath, with 1,000 mouths cannot completely glorify Ram. Tulsidas Maruta Sutta Mahima. Tulsidas writes, Hari apane Mukhagai. Such is the nature of Sri Ram, that those who have 1,000 mouths cannot glorify Ram, and Ram in turn glorifies Hanuman. That is the nature of the Lord we call Sri Ram. That is the nature of Sri Krishna. That is the nature of Ganesh. Nothing is different, just the name. We just change the names. I could sing the same thing that you use in all of them names. Bhajode mana Krishna charana sukhadai. Change all the name. Bhajode mana Ganapati ki charana sukhadai. You could change all the name. The name change. The message never changes. God will never change. He remains the same. All we have to do is stand by that murti and pray. That is not for me to do. I'm not going to stand up there and pray for you. You go and pray for yourself. The only thing I could do for you is burn you when you're dead. And that is for free. Stand up. You pray to God. God understands the mystery of birth and death. God understands the difficulties that individuals are going on. Yesterday we spoke about a child who committed suicide in UE because they didn't get good grades. Only today I found out it's not one. It's about 5 or 6 of them who did it. And 2 were very successful in their exam. None hit depressed yet. None hit depressed. Life out there very difficult. Look at the headline in today's papers. Yesterday papers. It's terrible. What children are going through, what parents are going through. It's a difficult time we're living in. And if people are not prepared to make the sacrifice, to worship God, to surrender to God, to ask God to help, I've always said, if you have a problem that's long standing, what you do? Sit down. Sit down and pray. Sit down and pray. Pray to God. Talk to God. God will understand. He's Samadarishi. He looks upon all with an equal eye. He knows the very thought that exists in the mind of each and every one. And if we surrender to that Supreme Lord, certainly He's going to come to our assistance. Bolo Shri Ganesh and Bhagavan Ki Jai. I will ask the group to give us a bhajan and then we will do the arati.
Sharanam Sharanam Pai Gajaranam
Sharanam Sharanam Pai Gajananam
Sharanam Sharanam Pai Gajaranam
Sharanam Sharanam Pai Gajananam
Vigna Vinashaka Gananatam
Vigna Vinashaka Gadanatam
Vigna Vinashaka Gananatam
Vigna Vinashaka Gadanatam
Buddhi Pradayaka Pahi Gajananam
Buddhi Pradayaka Pahi Gajanana
Buddhi Pradayaka Pahi Gajananam
Buddhi Pradayaka Pahi Gajanana
Asurani Kandana Pahi Gajananam
Asurani Kandana Pahi Gajanana
Asurani Kandana Pahi Gajananam
Asurani Kandana Pahi Gajanana
Pahi Gajananam Pahi Gajananam
Pahi Gajanana Pahi Gajanana
Pahi Gajananam Pahi Gajananam
Pahi Gajanana Pahi Gajanana
Vigna Vinashaka Gananatam
Vigna Vinashaka Gadanatam
Vigna Vinashaka Gananatam
Vigna Vinashaka Gadanatam
Sharanam Sharanam Pahi Gajananam
Sharanam Sharanam Pahi Gajananam
Vigna Vinashaka Gananatam
Vigna Vinashaka Gadanatam
Buddhi Pradayaka Pahi Gajananam
Buddhi Pradayaka Pahi Gajananam
Asurani Kandana Pahi Gajananam
Asurani Kandana Pahi Gajananam
Pahi Gajananam Pahi Gajananam
Pahi Gajanana Pahi Gajanana
Vigna Vinashaka Gananatam
Vigna Vinashaka Gadanatam
Vigna Vinashaka Gananatam
Vigna Vinashaka Gadanatam
Bolo Shri Ganesh and Bhagavan ki jai. All will stand as we join together and sing in the Aarti. Om Jai Ganapati Deva. Om Jai Ganapati Deva. Prabhu Jai Ganapati Deva. Vigana Vinashana Swami. Vigana Vinashana Swami. Sukha Sampati Deva. Om Jai
Ganapati Deva.
Parvati Putra Kahavo Shankar Sudha Swami. Prabhu Shankar Sudha Swami. Gajananda Gananayak. Gajananda Bhaktanayanogami. Om Jai
Ganapati Deva.
Riddhi Siddhi Ke Malik. Moshaka Yasavani. Prabhu Moshaka Yasavani. Kar jori vinati kare. Kar jori vinati kare. Ananda Yusavani.
Om Jai Ganapati Deva.
Prathama aapko pujat. Shubha Mangal Data. Prabhu Shubha Mangal
Daata.
Se deho ye sab karaj. Se deho ye sab karaj. Daridra hata jata. Om Jai
Ganapati Deva.
Sonda Sondala Donda Dondala Mastaka par Chanda. Prabhu Mastaka par
Chanda.
Karaj Siddha Karavo. Karaj Siddha Karavo. Kato Sab Panda. Om Jai
Ganapati Deva.
गणपति जी की आरती जो कोई नर गावे. प्रभु जो कोई नर गावे. दादू का बावती. दादू का बावती. निश दिन सुख पावे. Om Jai
Ganapati Deva.
Jaya Ganapati Deva. Prabhu Jai Ganapati Deva. Vigana Vinashana Swami. Vigana Vinashana Swami. Sukha Sampati Deva. Om Jai Ganapati Deva. Om Jai Ganapati Deva. Om Jai Ganapati Deva. Om Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva. Tvameva bandhushta sakha tvameva. Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva. Tvameva sarva mam deva deva. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Bolo Shri Ganesh and Bhagavan ki jai. Umapati Mahadev ki jai. सियापति रामचंद्र की जय, जगत जननी श्री दुर्गा माता की जय, बोलो सनातन धर्म की जय. Die Devotees, you may kindly take your seats.